The Ancient One says that human slave has done good in installing heat maker device.
Hi guys, Redneck Computer Geek here. So the kids and I have worked with about 11 different diesel heaters at this point, and we recently had this company reach out in order to go and take a look at their unit. And we're going to cover a few different things in this video. One of the big things is that this unit is like $200. And really, in all honesty, once you get past about 120 bucks, you're paying for extra features external to the unit. And so the question is, are all the external features of this unit worth the extra $80? Because a basic little $110 unit like this one over here is basically the same thing, just a lot less features. The other thing that commonly gets asked is the booster pack, the battery backup type idea. And let's clarify that right now. The reason why there's so much controversy on YouTube about whether it does or does not work is because a 2000 unit will work on 10 amps. A 5000 or an 8000 unit, this one being a 5, draws more amperage than the plug is capable of on the unit. And that's the clarification nobody seems to make in video. So, can you run a 2000 on one of those units? Yes. Could you run this 5000? No. Alright, let's crank it open and let's see what it looks like. Crank it. I said crank it open. I've been working on engines to the point that now I just speak engine about everything. The box is extremely bland. Like, literally what you see is the only thing that's worth showing. Alright, let's, take that out. And let's tip this for them to see. It is some sort of weird stainless steel box of doom. Alright, so first impressions. Not exactly the most high quality stainless steel ever, because the whole point of stainless is to be clean, and this is very dirty looking stainless steel, actually. So the measuring spot, in order to be able to see how full it is, looks to be on this end. And then the controller looks to be on that end. And where are the outputs? What do we got for outputs? There is no output. John, where's the exhaust go if there's no output in the bottom?
Is that it? Wait, no.
Yeah, no, it's right here. So here's my fear with this. That's your exhaust. So the thing about diesel heaters is usually the exhaust goes down through the bottom, and then you can go out one side, out the other, in order to aim where it is you want the heat to go. On this unit, you've only got one direction it goes because the exhaust has to go right there. And apparently it has its own proprietary little screw-in thing, which I'm really hoping is just like a regular pipe thread that you could maybe put, like, I don't know, cast iron pipe into or something. So hopefully there is an exhaust of some sort in that box.
Yes, I know, Jethro. There was bubble wrap, so you're excited. Alright, remember what I said earlier in the video. Anything that you pay past 110, 120 bucks, because that's what one of those costs, it's the externals that you're paying for. Which is things like this upgraded heat duct right here. And I will tell you, these do make a difference, and they're worth the value. The strange exhaust pipe that is here connects to a standard size muffler. So that's cool because that means that you can attach an extension onto this in order to get it wherever you want. Another side note while we're here, these do have a up and a down situation. This is the top and that moisture drain is the bottom, just in case you needed to know that. The other thing you're apparently paying extra for is a pass-through for the wall vent for going into a camper. And just in case you have children that over-torque everything, we have a click gas tank cap, which I think is massive overkill for a diesel heater. And if you don't want to get out of bed in order to turn your diesel heater on, even better, there's an app for that in order to control it. And now we're at the point of this. Hey Jethro, can I grab this? This is for a 15 amp circuit. It is not for a 10 amp circuit like one of those use. And that's where things get kind of gray area about this kind of thing. So just pay attention to that aspect. We've got our connection in order to go to a trolling motor or a car battery or anything else of your choice. And then we've got our 110 adapter right here. And these, by the way, if you look them up and stuff, they're literally just a glorified converter brick. Do not bother buying the like $60, $70 version of this. Just buy the 110 to 12 volt, 20 amp converter and just wire this right directly to it. You can save yourself like $40 and look like a DIY person, even though it really wasn't that hard. Alright, I think we should get it hooked up and see if it makes beep beep noises.
Yeah.
Did you just finally join the video?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, do the heater happy dance. There you go. Yeah, it's the next morning and we're enjoying our heater. We got our breakfast and our toast. The living room is now 70 degrees. It's nice, isn't it, Jethro? And the kitty has figured out the spot to sleep without getting stepped on. Jethro, what do you think? You enjoy the heater? Yeah? Is it your best friend? I know, I turned it off. That's because we're going to take the top off so we can check it out and show the people on YouTube what's inside. Yeah, I know. It's okay. We'll turn it back on afterwards, maybe when it's got its top off. Do you need a diaper? Okay, let's go do your diaper. And then we'll take the top off of the heater. Okay. There were so many screws in that thing that Jethro is going to be entertained putting them in holes for an hour. I had to take this dumb thing out, and once that popped out, that came off instantly. No more argument. But I still was an hour just to get to this point. Now, this is a massively upgraded tank. It's got reinforcements internally through everywhere. I don't think I've ever seen that on a diesel heater. The pump is actually the upgraded style that has a integrated filter. It is accessible to replace it. There's the mounting bolt right in there shining back at us. It does look like it's got really nice high quality hose going on as far as that's concerned. The whole unit is bolted together on this one internal frame rail. It looks as if it just kind of sits into the body. Because these, if I pull this frame rail out, this whole internal section moves. As you can see right here, it looks as if when you put that external screw in, you bolt the whole thing together. So I'm going to bet trying to put this back together is going to suck. So therefore the lid is probably never going back on it ever again. There's a lot to unpack as far as viewing on this side. So this is our intake air filter, and unless you want the sounds of some kid with a Subaru that's turbocharged in your living room, do not ever remove that, or it sounds like one of those. The fuel tank is actually designed to tuck under the unit. So that fuel tank actually comes to right there. And that unit is that much, so it tucks in under that whole section right in there. The exhaust, with their weird screw-in output, does have a standard 90-degree crimp set going on. So it would not take too much to be able to spin this around. But I'd have to go through the bottom of the unit and underneath it because that fuel tank goes all the way to the bottom on the other side. So that's something to consider here, is no matter what, to use the factory setup, you've got to have the output going that direction. This unit here just looks like your standard unit that if you want to pop it open, you just undo this right here, and this top should come right off. My one quibble here is that this piece is bent over the top of it, which means that you can't actually... Yeah, so the only way you can open this would be to reach in here and unbolt all of this to be able to tip this way to open it. Or it looks as if they're... Yeah, right there. So there are screws up through from the bottom on this plate. Oh, but they put the foot stud over the top of that one. So, yeah. Accessibility, being able to fix it, this thing gets like a 1 out of 10. Like, if we're considering the ease that I can literally tear this thing all the way down to frame and have every part of it spewed out on a table in 15 minutes... And this took me an hour just to get to this point, and I had to disassemble everything unnecessarily, then I give this like a 0 or a 1 out of 10 rating on maintenance capability.
Okay, so after a few days worth of use, what do I really think about the heater? Well, it's doing its usual routine of drying out some shoes because somebody just couldn't help themselves and jumped into a mud puddle the moment they went outside. It's a cool heater. I really like it. It's very quiet, but all of the quiet pump heaters always are for about 30 days. After that, reality hits and they usually get noisy. I like the app, except for I don't like that it stalks you for what your location is. I do not understand why any app needs to know your location when it's just supposed to be used for on, off, and programming the unit to turn on at a certain time of day, which is a really cool feature in this thing. You can pull up the app and you can program this so that every day of the week it turns on at 7 a.m., it'll turn back off at 8 o'clock. You can set it to turn on for lunchtime, you can set it to turn on at night at some point, and it cycles for an hour and then turns itself off. That is a really nifty feature. Now, at the end of the day, in this overbuilt engineering experiment that is this diesel heater, do I think it's worth $200? I honestly am on the edge of whether I think it's worth $200. I think at $160, $180, I think these things would sell like hotcakes and totally be worth it. But it's marketed as a camper setup. And camper setups usually tend to pipe into a tent of some sort, and that's not really what it's set up for. It's not really set up to be DIY friendly to set it up in the base of a camper. It's kind of like a weird crossbreed of external setup, yet plummet into your unit or your tent or something. I don't know. If I was them, I would set it up to be sold in kits. One kit being sold as a DIY, put it in the bottom of your camper. One kit being sold as a set it out on the bumper of your RV and pipe it in. And another kit set up that you could put it in one of those cubbies and be able to set it in so that it's fully enclosed in the camper itself. As it is right now, it doesn't actually meet any of those 3 standard usage, and you'd have to add on another $50 to $60 worth of equipment, and this is basically worthless. Along with their really cool through-the-wall adapter, which is the wrong size to work with dryer duct, which is what every other unit basically uses. Anyways, I think it's awesome. We're going to run it through the rest of the season, and we're going to see how it holds up. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, we're going to end up solar kitting this so that it's off the grid entirely, and we'll follow up on it in subscriber updates as we use it through the winter for the next 3 to 4 months. Otherwise than that, Jethro, Whoop, can you come over here so that they can see you? Hi. Say bye-bye. Good job. What is up with the face? What is that? Okay, there. Now say goodbye. Good job.